The Art Beat, a weekly program putting you in touch with artists and arts events from the J.T. and Margaret Talkington College of Visual and Performing Arts at Texas Tech University. Hello and welcome to this week's edition of The Art Beat on KLZK 105.7 FM. I'm your host, Peter Martins, coming to you as always from the Talkington College of Visual and Performing Arts at Texas Tech University. There's a nip in the air, some dust as well, but mostly a nip in the air, and I'm happy to speak today with two members of our musicology faculty in the School of Music at Texas Tech. We have Angela Mariani, who's a professor of musicology, and Roger Landis, who's a senior lecturer in musicology and the music humanities as well. They are here as musicologists, but also more particularly as figures in the Vernacular Music Center, which is a university-recognized center at Texas Tech. I'll let them talk a little bit more about the nature of that center. But Roger Landis is associate director of that organization, and Angela Mariani is the research coordinator within the VMC, or the Vernacular Music Center. So maybe I'll ask you to start off just defining briefly what is the Vernacular Music Center, how does it interface with the School of Music and the broader arts at Texas Tech and in Lubbock?
So the VMC was inaugurated in 2000 by Dr. Christopher J. Smith when he first came here to Texas Tech. And for the longest time, it was an informal organization, mainly providing access to vernacular music procedures and repertoires through kind of a suite of ensembles. The Celtic Ensemble was one that he founded first. Then the Early Music Ensemble, I think, was the first name that ensemble was given. And then when I came here in 2009, a few years later, I founded the Balkan Ensemble. And since then, the Caprock Bagpipe Ensemble consort. And there's been a couple of others from time to time, but those are the four main ones now. What vernacular music is music that is learned by ear and carried in the memory, and sometimes written down, but it is not primarily disseminated through written repertoires. Right. And what comes with that is a whole different set of procedures and tactics and values, and we find that they interface very well with the other musics in the academy.
Sure, and thanks for making that point, that I think the importance of the distinction, why vernacular is needed, so to speak, at all, is that our traditions that we teach in most university academic settings are very literate traditions of music, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
The focus of these ensembles, as you're saying, they obviously reflect the expertise and kind of desires of the people leading them. What sort of things have come and gone over the years based on other folks, pulling on their own experience? I feel like we had a Polynesian ensemble for a minute. Am I remembering that correctly?
We did for a while. We did have some of that. That was Dr. Jacoy, who was doing that with some of the students in the School of Music. We've also, for a while, had a graduate student who had done a lot of training in the African Mbira, and he had a small ensemble of people who were working on that.
I think we had a rock ensemble for a minute as well, right?
We did. And, kind of popular music, rock and roll ensemble. And a lot of times, to some degree, we love to take advantage of the fact that we have graduate students from all over the world. And it's wonderful when they can get together. Right now we have a very active and really splendid East African music ensemble.
Okay.
And so they've done a couple of...
Drumming ensemble, largely, yes? Or am I thinking of one a couple years ago that was drumming?
It's not only drumming, but do you want to add to that?
Yeah, it's a variety of string instruments as well, and lots of singing and some dancing. The East African Quartet. They're really fantastic. I think most of the graduate students who comprise that quartet, which has at least a couple of times stretched to a quintet, I think most of them are from Uganda. And some of them actually were acquainted with one another before they came here to pursue their graduate studies.
Interesting. So it sounds like a very flexible stable of opportunities for students that draw on their own interests and experience, and those are the faculty as well. But as you said, the Celtic Ensemble and Balkan Ensemble and the Early Music Ensemble, which is now called...
It has gone through a number of names. Right now we refer to the sort of, let's call it the umbrella group as the Historical Performance Ensemble. I sometimes refer to the larger group as Collegium, after Collegium Musicum was a term that meant some kind of ensemble that was affiliated with an academic entity of some kind. Actually, Bach had a Collegium Musicum.
Sure, right.
And we also have the Early Wind Ensemble, which is Ventus, loud band, Ventus being wind in Latin.
Nice.
And they play early wind instruments. We have at times had a viola da gamba ensemble. That's a early bowed string instrument, and we've also had recorder ensemble at different times. So there's a lot of different subsets, you could say, of the Historical Performance Ensemble.
Right, and I'm sure we could do an entire show, and we should at some point in the future, of all of the stuff that you need to pull these things off, right? All of the historical instruments and their care and feeding, and how to get students who learn modern instruments to get acquainted and comfortable with these things. It's a really fascinating side of, I think, of what's done in the School of Music under the aegis of the VMC and the musicology area, I guess, more generally. So I'm interested in one of the events that is coming up, kind of one of the Vernacular Music Center's signature events that happens generally during the winter break here. Been around for, I understand it, over 20 years, and was originally called Celtic Christmas, and now we're referring to it under a slightly different name.
Yeah, now that the VMC is an official research center within the college, we put the VMC name in the event, and we just call it the VMC Solstice Concert.
Okay. And it's generally in early December, and this year it's coming up?
Yes, it's on Sunday, December 7th. It's a matinee. It starts at 2 p.m. It'll be just over an hour long. There won't be an intermission. It'll be one performance. We've got a great show lined up. The theme, and I'll let Dr. Mariani talk about that in a minute. The theme is Shakespeare. There's a Shakespeare tie-in, and she can speak to that. It's built around a few ensembles. The Historical Performance Ensemble is going to participate. Kind of the anchor ensemble is what used to be called the Celtic Ensemble, but now it's called the Tech Folk Orchestra.
Okay.
They're kind of the through line for the entire performance. There's going to be selected readings. Angie and Dr. Bill Gelber from theater and Clint Barrick will be the readers. Also, the bagpipe consort is going to play. We're going to have two special guests. Scott and Amy Ferris are going to be performing.
They let the bagpipes play indoors, really?
Yeah.
One time only? Once per year? No, just kidding.
Ours are the English bagpipes, so they're not quite as loud as the ones that we're used to hearing outdoors.
The Highland pipes,
yeah.
Okay.
We clean up pretty well.
Nice. So I've been to this program in years past, and it's really a wonderful show. You think of going to Hemley Recital Hall and seeing an ensemble play a concert, and there's a tune and maybe a little introduction and a tune. But this is a real, like you say, a show with a through line, almost kind of like a Andy Williams Christmas sort of thing from the old days, but with a thematic flavor that I'm really interested in hearing about.
I would say that it is usually the case that we have some kind of theme that holds the show together that's a little bit different every single year. And we certainly do envision it as a program that has a kind of continuity that runs through it from the beginning to the end each year. And the idea this year with this idea of Shakespeare at the solstice, and why Shakespeare? Well, part of it is celebrating the fact that we've had a lot of that kind of activity. We had Bill Gelber's wonderful production of Hamlet with the theater department, and the Historical Performance Ensemble contributed some of the music to that soundtrack. So there was a little bit of a, I guess what you could say, interdisciplinary exchange there among departments. But also some of the readings are going to be from Shakespeare, some of the readings that happen in the course of the performance.
Okay.
And also it's a little bit of a nod to a long-term Vernacular Music Center project that's going on right now, which is called Resounding the Early Modern. Okay. And we have the participation of music, visual arts, theater, a lot of different events and ensembles and departments and divisions and so on that are taking part in this over a long period of time.
Okay.
So all of those factors sort of came together, and we said, hey, this is let's continue to celebrate this, and also looking forward to the other events for Resounding the Early Modern. Let's bring that into the Solstice concert. So,
nice.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So part of a larger project there.
Yeah.
And the early modern, late 16th, 17th century, is that what we're talking about there?
Yeah, I think when we say early modern, I guess for the sake of simplicity, if you think about whatever we would consider to be the Renaissance, and maybe just expand that forward a little bit.
Okay. The long Renaissance, as it were.
Yeah. Well, I remember having a professor who used to say the dates of the what we call the Renaissance depends on where you were.
Sure.
So,
Right,
yeah.
right.
But it's generally,
Okay.
16th, 17th, yeah.
Okay. Now, in this production, I understand there's some sort of puppetry involved.
Well, there is some dancing, and there is singing, and there's various kinds of music. And I don't know about puppetry, but there will be an appearance by Krampus. And if you don't know who or what Krampus is, I could maybe describe it as Santa Claus's evil twin.
That's right.
The sort of semi-demonic goat-like character who shows up sometimes with Santa and sometimes by himself in various traditions.
Interesting.
To deal with the naughty kids as opposed to the good kids who are going to get some goodies from Santa. The naughty kids get their just desserts from this character Krampus.
So it's not just a lump of coal kind of innocuously in your stocking. It's a little more active than that.
It's a little more active than that.
Nice. It's funny. I really had never heard of this figure from, kind of Germanic, Norse traditions?
I think I might be wrong, but I think it originates in the area of Austria.
Okay.
But it's
okay.
German-speaking lands, yeah.
I was at the Christmas market one year in Chicago where we lived for a good number of years, and we had some very small children at the time, and rounded a corner of one of these booths, and there were these life-size Krampus costumes, hung on the wall. And I think at least one of the children burst into tears at that point, and we had to do a little homework and figure out what this was all about. So that's exciting. So is there a Santa figure as well in this production, along with, or are we just on the dark side this time?
I didn't see one on the flowchart.
I don't recall.
What other details?
Bagpipes.
Right, we mentioned the bagpipe consort. Right, now are they don't seem to be as Austro-Germanic as Krampus maybe, but it fits.
Well, there are plenty of bagpipes in the Austro-German sphere.
Okay.
Yeah, historically and currently. We just don't have any of them.
Oh, okay. So there are different varieties.
There's 136 different varieties in Europe alone. So
you are probably the only person in the building that knows that right now. That's congratulations.
I'm the secretary of the International Bagpipe Organization. So
okay, all right.
If they paid me, they would pay me to know that.
I see.
If we had 136 donors, we could possibly get one of each.
Have the most complete bagpipe collection on the planet, huh?
Yeah, that would do it.
So I want to go back and at least mention for our audience again the larger context of this sounding the early modern thing, and I imagine there will be events in coming semesters, spring 26, fall 26 even, that will kind of tie into some of the themes that will be laid out in the Solstice concert here. So that's great. Why don't we go ahead and remind our listeners the time and place once again of the concert coming up here?
Yes, it's on Sunday, December 7th at 2 p.m., and it is a relatively short concert. It'll be just over an hour without intermission. It is free of charge. Plenty of parking that time of day. It is the same day as the Carol of Lights show, which happens. There's enough time between the two that if you're not sticking around for the Carol of Lights, you'll have plenty of time to get on campus and get off.
You'll be able to escape before that onslaught, right? But if you're staying, you can come early at 2 o'clock, see the show, and then just hang around. And I think the Carillon concert itself starts at 6:30, so a little bit of time in there. Grab a bite and have a full day of it on campus.
Yeah, the Solstice show will be over well before 3:30.
Sure, okay. So. Well, great. It's been my pleasure to talk to you folks, Roger Landis and Angela Mariani from the Texas Tech School of Music and also the Vernacular Music Center. Best of luck putting together this cavalcade of interesting things that are going to happen during the Solstice concert in just a little bit of time here. And we look forward to talking to you again about your other endeavors.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
All right. Bye-bye. The Art Beat, a weekly program putting you in touch with artists and arts events from the J.T. and Margaret Talkington College of Visual and Performing Arts at Texas Tech University.